road stretched out before me like a dark ribbon weaving through the desolate landscape, the only company the occasional flicker of a distant streetlight. Hours of endless driving had left me weary to the bone, my eyelids heavy with exhaustion. With the border between Texas and Mexico looming ominously in the distance, I knew I needed to find a place to rest for the night. As luck would have it, a department store in Eagle Pass beckoned like a beacon of respite amidst the darkness. With a heavy heart, I pulled into the desolate parking lot, the silence of the night broken only by the soft hum of my engine. Little did I know that this seemingly innocuous decision would lead me down a path of terror from which I may never return. The flickering streetlights cast eerie shadows across the asphalt as I settled in for the night, the promise of sleep a welcome reprieve from the rigors of the road. Yet, as the hours wore on, a sense of unease began to gnaw at the edges of my consciousness, a primal instinct warning me of unseen dangers lurking just beyond the veil of darkness. It started innocently enough, a noise in the distance, a fleeting shadow darting through the night. But as the night wore on, the sense of foreboding grew stronger, until it was all-consuming, a suffocating blanket of fear that threatened to engulf me whole. And then, in the dead of night, it happened. The shattering glass shattered the silence, a deafening cacophony piercing the stillness like a knife. With adrenaline coursing through my veins, I sprang into action, my heart pounding in my chest as I braced myself for whatever horrors awaited me outside. As I flung open my truck door, I was met with a sight straight from the depths of my worst nightmares. Two shadowy figures, their faces obscured by the darkness, stood before me, their intentions as murky as night. With a sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach, I realized that I was not alone, and that these strangers meant me harm. In a moment of sheer terror, I found myself at the mercy of malevolent forces beyond my comprehension. Their blows rained down upon me like a hailstorm of agony, each strike a symphony of pain that echoed through the night. And as consciousness slipped away from me, swallowed whole by the darkness, I knew that I was truly alone in the world. When I awoke, battered and bruised, the nightmare was far from over. Trapped in the confines of my truck, a prisoner to unseen forces, I grappled with the horrifying realization that my fate hung in the balance. With every labored breath, I feared the worst. A fate far worse than death awaited me in the depths of the night. Yet, as dawn broke over the horizon, casting its golden light upon the world below, I emerged from the shadows of despair, battered but unbroken. The road ahead may be fraught with peril, but with each passing mile, I carry with me the indomitable spirit that has guided me through the darkest of nights. As the darkness of night began to dissipate, replaced by the soft glow of dawn on the horizon, I emerged from the depths of my ordeal, battered but unbowed. The events of that harrowing night in Eagle Pass would haunt me for years to come, a stark reminder of the dangers that lurk just beyond the edge of perception. In the aftermath of the attack, I found myself grappling with a maelstrom of emotions: fear, anger, and a gnawing sense of vulnerability that seemed to cling to me like a shadow. Every passing car, every unfamiliar face sent a shiver down my spine, a stark reminder of the fragility of life on the road. Yet, amidst the darkness, there was also a glimmer of hope. The swift intervention of law enforcement had spared me from a fate worse than death, their tireless efforts bringing the perpetrators to justice and ensuring that no others would fall victim to their malevolent deeds. As I made my way back onto the open road, the scars of that fateful night still fresh upon my body, I knew that I could never truly escape the shadows that had haunted me in Eagle Pass. But with each passing mile, I vowed to reclaim my sense of safety and security, to turn my back on the darkness and embrace the light of a new day. For though the road ahead may be fraught with peril, I refuse to be its victim. With grim determination, I press onward, a testament to the indomitable spirit that resides within us all. The Catskill Mountains rose majestically in the distance, their rugged peaks obscured by a thick blanket of mist that hung heavy in the air. As I navigated the winding mountain roads of Wurtsboro, New York, I couldn't help but marvel at the raw beauty that surrounded me, a beauty that belied the dangers lurking just beneath the surface. For a seasoned trucker like myself, driving through the mountains was nothing new. Yet, as the rain began to fall and the roads grew slick with moisture, I knew that this journey would be unlike any other. With each passing mile, the sense of unease grew stronger, a nagging voice in the back of my mind warning me of the perilous path that lay ahead. As the rain pelted down upon the windshield, obscuring my view of the road ahead, I felt the first stirrings of fear deep within my chest. With each twist and turn of the mountain pass, I clung to the steering wheel with white-knuckled intensity, my heart pounding in my chest as I fought to maintain control of the massive vehicle hurtling down the rain-slicked asphalt. And then, disaster struck. As I rounded a particularly treacherous bend, the wheels of my truck skidded dangerously close to the edge, the abyss below yawning wide to swallow me whole. At that moment, time seemed to slow to a crawl, every heartbeat a thunderous drumbeat in the silence of the night. With a surge of adrenaline, I fought to regain control of the careening vehicle, my every instinct screaming at me to flee from the brink of oblivion. And then, miraculously, the truck came to a stop, teetering precariously on the edge of disaster. As I sat there, suspended between life and death, I couldn't help but marvel at the sheer improbability of my survival. The mountain pass had exacted its toll, leaving scars both seen and unseen, but I refused to be broken by its cruelty. With trembling hands and a heart heavy with gratitude, I emerged from the wreckage, battered but alive. The road ahead may be fraught with peril, but with each passing mile, I carry with me the indomitable spirit that has guided me through the darkest of nights. As the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, casting its golden rays across the rugged landscape, I emerged from the wreckage, battered but alive. The events of that fateful night on the treacherous mountain pass had left an indelible mark upon my soul, a reminder of the fragility of life in the face of nature's fury. In the days that followed, I found myself haunted by the specter of death that had stalked me through the darkness. Every twist and turn of the road brought with it a sense of unease, a nagging fear that I would once again find myself teetering on the brink of oblivion. But with each passing mile, I also found a renewed sense of purpose, a determination to seize each moment, to embrace life with a newfound appreciation for its fleeting beauty. For though the road ahead may be fraught with peril, I refuse to be its victim. As I navigated the winding mountain roads, the scars of my ordeal still fresh upon my body, I vowed to never again take for granted the simple joy of being alive. For in the heart of darkness, I had found a light that burned bright within me, a light that would guide me through even the darkest of nights. And so, with each passing mile, I carry with me the lessons learned on that fateful night on the treacherous mountain pass. For though the road may be long and fraught with danger, I know that with courage and determination, I can overcome any obstacle that lies in my path. The night air hung heavy with the scent of rain, the thick fog swirling like tendrils of smoke around me as I settled into the comforting embrace of my truck. For a weary traveler like myself, the solitude of the night was a welcome respite from the chaos of the world. Yet, as I sat there in the darkness, a sense of unease began to creep over me like a shadow, a primal instinct warning me of unseen dangers lurking just beyond the edge of perception. With each passing moment, the feeling of being watched grew stronger, a sinister presence lurking just beyond the veil of darkness. It started innocently enough, a flicker of movement in the corner of my eye, a fleeting shadow darting through the night. But as the hours wore on, the sense of foreboding grew stronger, until it was all-consuming, a suffocating blanket of fear that threatened to engulf me whole. And then, it happened. The sound of shattering glass shattered the silence, a deafening cacophony that pierced the stillness like a knife. With a surge of adrenaline, I sprang into action, my heart pounding in my chest as I braced myself for whatever horrors awaited me outside. As I flung open the door of my truck, I was met with a sight straight from the depths of my worst nightmares. A figure cloaked in white, its form obscured by the swirling mists of night, stood before me, its eyes burning with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. Despite my mounting trepidation, I couldn't shake the feeling that this spectral apparition harbored intentions far more malevolent than mere curiosity. And so, with a trembling hand, I reached out into the darkness, seeking answers to questions best left unasked. But the silence that greeted my inquiry was deafening, a chilling reminder of the unseen forces that stalked the night. As the figure disappeared into the shadows, a sense of foreboding settled over me like a suffocating blanket, its weight heavy upon my soul. And then, the nightmare truly began. From the depths of darkness emerged a sound so haunting, so primal, that it chilled me to the bone. The metallic screech of metal on metal echoed through the night, a symphony of terror that heralded the arrival of unspeakable horrors. At that moment, I knew that I was not alone, that something far more sinister lurked in the shadows, its intentions as inscrutable as the night itself. And though dawn eventually broke, banishing the darkness that had enveloped me, the memory of that harrowing night would linger forever in the recesses of my mind. For in the heart of darkness, where the boundaries between reality and nightmare blur, I had glimpsed a truth too terrible to comprehend. And though I may never know the identity of the specter that haunted me that fateful night, its presence serves as a grim reminder of the horrors that lurk just beyond the edge of perception. As the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, banishing the shadows that had haunted me through the long night, I emerged from the confines of my truck, battered but unbowed. The events of that harrowing night had left an indelible mark upon my soul, a reminder of the unseen forces that lurk just beyond the edge of perception. In the days that followed, I found myself haunted by the memory of that spectral apparition that had stalked me through the darkness. Every shadow, every flicker of movement sent a shiver down my spine, a stark reminder of the horrors that lurk just beyond the veil of night. But with each passing day, I also found a renewed sense of resolve, a determination to confront the darkness that had threatened to consume me and emerge stronger on the other side. For though the road ahead may be fraught with peril, I refuse to be its victim. As I journeyed on through the long nights and lonely highways, I carried with me the memory of that fateful encounter, a constant reminder of the thin line that separates the world of the living from the realm of the unknown. And though the shadows may still whisper their secrets in the dead of night, I know that with courage and determination, I can face whatever darkness lies ahead.